Hey guys, welcome to the Game Precast. My name is Frank. I am joined by Mike. This is our podcast where we talk about all things gaming. Today we got a relatively short topic list, but we'll still have a pretty good show here. We like to start the show off talking about what we've been doing. So, Mike, what's been going on with you?
Well, in terms of what I've been reading, I've just been continuing Dark Force Rising, the second Thrawn book in the trilogy. Still incredibly good. Don't have much more to say on that. In terms of watching anything, haven't kept up on Falcon the Winter Soldier. I know the second episode dropped, and I think the
Damn,
third one's gonna drop soon. But
yeah,
no,
tomorrow.
I heard it came out, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't care. Um, I'm definitely not invested at all, but I might check it out again at some point. We'll see. Um, and then honestly, this past week I didn't really play anything until the
Damn.
weekend. Until the weekend,
Okay.
and then I kind of went off a little bit, um, because I had this game like 64% of the trophies done or something like that from when it released, and I was like, you know what, I want to go for the platinum because I played the first game in this franchise, and I was like, well, this fourth entry is almost nearly done, so I feel like 100%ing it. That's God of War, the new one from 2018. I already had like the Valkyries and all that sort of stuff done, so I just had to get all the collectibles, the Muspelheim trials, the Niflheim stuff. Just really mopping up the remainder of the game's content, and honestly I had a pretty decent time doing it. I mean, a lot of this stuff was grindy, but the world's beautiful, especially Midgard, so which is Earth if you haven't played the game, and it's just real gorgeous to look at constantly, so it wasn't that much of a pain, and the side quests were actually fairly enjoyable to do, so that was fun. And then I was like, you know what, I got that platinum, I kind of want to go for another, because this is another 2018 game, Sony exclusive. You probably already know what it is, but I had like just under 50% of the trophies for this game. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to platinum this too. So I did, and that's Spider-Man for PS4. Again, I had the main story done, but literally none of the side content besides like the backpacks, visiting Uncle Ben's grave, like some light stuff. So I had to get all the rest of the collectibles, all the Taskmaster trials, all the side missions, all of that menial nonsense, which really made me respect Insomniac's talent for crafting a main narrative, and really made me recognize that they are just not good at developing side content really that much at all. I mean, it was a slog to get through for the most part. I mean, some of it was enjoyable, like
Yeah, I
the
thought
web
some of the
slinging.
side quests was good.
Yeah, some of it was good, and the web slinging is like always fun. So traversing through the city is always guaranteed to be a somewhat good time. But after a while, like to platinum it, you need to do 20 crimes in each district.
Damn.
Uh, just random crimes in progress. It's not like Miles Morales where you pull up on your phone and just go to it. You have to wait for it to spawn. Except Central Park, there's only 5 there, but every other district's 20. So at least over 100. I haven't done the exact math because I did not care. I was just so drained after it. I'm like, you know, if I even do the calculations, this is going to make me not want to do it at all. So just powered through and got all that stuff done, and then I got the platinum, and then I installed the remaster that I got for Miles Morales. Excuse me. Transfer over to my save, and I got another platinum immediately after
So you didn't
for
just?
doing that
Why didn't you just play it on the remastered version
because
originally?
the remat. Well, because one, my playthrough was nearly done
Yeah,
on
but
the
you could
original.
transfer your save, can't you?
Yeah, but then I won't get the trophies in the original
Oh,
that I. So like I platinumed the original, and then I transferred my save to the remaster, and I got the platinum immediately.
okay.
Also, I would never play through the remaster because
The
that is not
face.
Peter Parker.
Ah.
It's not Peter Parker. It looks so bad. Like it was starting to grow on me in the next game that I played, which already gave away what it was. But in Spider-Man Remastered, I can't deal with it. I like the original design so much better. He looks like a baby with the new face, and just not your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Doesn't look like him. So you know, I wouldn't play the remaster for those reasons, but I was like, hey, free trophy out of it. I only have to download it once. Sure, why not? And then after that, I was like, you know what? I still haven't beaten Spider-Man Miles Morales. I was still about halfway through the game. So I picked it up again and I started playing through it, and I beat it. And then within a day of that, I was, playing through it all the way again to secure the platinum, and I did. So within like 3 days, I was able to get 4 platinums on
God
PlayStation.
damn.
That's what I did over the weekend. Miles Morales is a very good game. I definitely understand what you mean now, where like at a certain point the cops should be showing up,
Yeah.
like that battle for Harlem at the end. And that's
Cops are
not
just
necessarily
nowhere to be found. They're like, they took the day off.
literally just war breaking out through a very populated district of New York, evacuations going on, and just nope, we're gonna take the day off. So I kind of get what you were saying now, but again, it's a comic book game,
Yeah.
so it's not meant to be taken super seriously. And I had a great time with it. I thought some things were pretty lazily done, especially in the conclusion with certain characters and wrapping up their story arcs, especially in relation to Miles. I'm not going to go into specifics to avoid spoilers, but there's I want to say, I'll try and keep it vague as possible. There is a love interest slash very close and personal relationship Miles deals with the entirety of the game, and it never gets resolved in a good way. I feel like it gets resolved in a very cliche and kind of cringy way, especially with the dialogue that they choose to use is very unoriginal. Um, but I gotta say, one thing that I loved about Miles Morales is this new relationship we have between him and his uncle Aaron, the Prowler. I thought that was the best part of the game, honestly. Because, usually the Prowler, of course, in other medias, you know, Miles Morales media, he always loves his nephew, but he will still, kick the shit out of him and stuff, and he'll still actively go against his interests. But in this game, the Prowler is really more like a legitimate friend. I mean, he definitely does some things that, an uncle slash friend should not do to their nephew, but like, for the most part, he remains good, I guess. He
Yeah.
remains not evil, I guess you could
That's
say.
fair.
And I really like seeing that side of Prowler because I feel like deep down that's always who he was. Just like after his falling out with his brother, he never really saw a shot for redemption to be something else. But with Miles, he sees that second chance. And it's also Miles' second chance to have a father figure in his life and try and make sure that the same thing that happened to his father doesn't happen to his uncle Aaron, just in a different way. And I like just the whole family dynamic between Miles, his mom, the memory of his father, and his uncle. And I think that's the strongest part of the game's narrative. And I really, really enjoyed that. Gameplay is still practically the same as 2018's, just,
Different
advanced with the
abilities.
yeah, the Venom combat, which I really like, but I thought they could have expanded upon more so than they did. It felt very similar, and I would have liked to see more variety in the enemy types and factions because the underground sucks. The main enemy that you fight against the game, they have some really cheap tactics and they aren't all that interesting. And Roxxon, the other enemy faction in the game, is literally just Sable reskinned in red. So
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty lazy. I definitely do still hold the belief that this is a standalone expansion. I don't think it should have launched at $60, which is why it didn't. But then again, the Ultimate Edition for PlayStation 5 launched at like 70. So, I, even though it comes with the remaster of the first game, I don't think it's worth it for that price because even if you play through it twice, which I did because you have to beat it on New Game Plus for Platinum, it's maybe 25 hours worth of content maximum if you push it. I don't
But then when you count in the remastered length, that's like a 60-hour experience.
exactly.
So
It,
60
but
hours is worth it for $70, in my
but
opinion.
here's the thing, right? Is that remaster came out 2 years after the base
It
game.
didn't need a remaster. That's the
We
thing.
exactly didn't need a remaster. So like, yeah, they can use that excuse like, oh, but you get the remaster bundled in, but that didn't need to exist.
I mean, yeah, Spider-Man 2018 should have just gotten a free 60 FPS upgrade, and that should have been
Exactly.
it.
God of War did 4K 60, no problem. That's
Yeah.
how I was playing on my PS5. And if it came out the same year as Spider-Man, if you can do that for free, you could do it for Spider-Man. But no, you saw the money, you saw the opportunity for a $70 release with Miles Morales, and you took it. And you know what? For Sony, I'm not surprised they did that at all because we know how anti-consumer they are, especially with some certain news we will be talking about in a little bit. Um, I don't want to go too far off topic though. Point being, Miles Morales, incredibly solid experience. Definitely worth platinuming, especially to get just the
Oh, we lost Mike. Mike has died. Oh, is he back?
Hello?
Oh, there you are. You good?
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was only a 10-second thing there, so I
All
don't
right,
know.
good.
Yeah, like a little
Well,
your whole thing went blue, and then there's just a little
yeah, no.
circle thing.
Pretty much every single peripheral that I have just decided to disconnect at once. So
Oh,
that's cool.
so you had the Frank problem, the razor.
Yeah. Well, no, I've had this problem for a very long time, but if that is exactly what happens to you, at least I know now it's something to do with the Razer peripherals, and it's not like my PC, which is good. But
Yeah,
then again, I don't know. Anyways, no problem. I remember exactly what I was saying. Point being, Miles Morales is definitely worth getting to play all the way through to 100% completion so you get the most out of your money. And I think it was a very, very, very enjoyable experience. And I really like the post-credit scene where they hint towards something we already knew was going to happen with the end of not Amazing Spider-Man, with the end of Marvel's Spider-Man. We knew that a
yeah,
certain thing was going to happen in the sequel, and then that got reconfirmed in the post-credit scene of Miles Morales. So I think they are really ramping up production now, probably on Spider-Man 2. And if 2018's game and Miles Morales is anything to go off of, I think they're starting to build a really compelling universe here for our web-slinging friend.
I agree. I mean, I think maybe 2023 for Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I was
I
always
see that.
thinking 2022 would be the year, but then Miles Morales came out of nowhere. So I think 2023 is fair. Maybe 2024 at the latest.
I think 2023 would be more likely than 2024. And I was saying 2022 originally as well, like yourself, but they're still updating Miles Morales. Not that much because there's only so much you can add to a game like that, right?
But they just
But
had a suit like yesterday, I believe.
yeah, a suit and a little I think it's a performance patch. There was some technical aspect to it,
Yeah,
but yes, they also added in a suit, which is kind of it was kind of a reskin of this one suit called the Programmable Matter suit with kind of like the style from his classic suit pasted on top of it. So it definitely didn't take the longest time to make, but they're still, releasing content for this game. So yeah, I don't think that, Spider-Man 2 will be coming out next year. I think, even though God of War Ragnarok probably is, I think Spider-Man's going to take another year,
I agree. I mean,
especially since
Insomniac's very busy. They had Ratchet, of course, coming out this year. So
they just released a 60 FPS patch for that as well,
yeah,
which I'm going to start today. Oh, and actually, one more game that I started playing. It's not in Reach, so I can't show the physical. But Fallout New Vegas, I have never
great game.
beaten it. I have
Really, you never beat it?
I've never gotten too far in it. Yes, but I started to play it through on Xbox Series X last night. Uh, pretty having a pretty good time with it. Um, what's the what do you know the beginning town's name? The opening town?
Good Springs.
Good Springs, yeah. So I may have massacred that last night.
Wow, you beast.
Everyone living in Good Springs. Started with Doc Mitchell, and then the dominoes just kept on falling. A lot of people there don't have heads anymore, is what I would say if I didn't reload my save, which of
Good
course I
guy.
did. But had to get it out of my system a little bit because I remember New Vegas's combat being very fun, and I was right. Um, but yeah, no, I started playing through a little bit. I got Prim under the jurisdiction of the NCR. And what did I do after that? I traveled to, I think the place is called Novak.
Yeah.
Is that a place?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, that's
That little
that's where
T
I
Rex dude is there.
yeah, and I was doing a thing for Manny. That's right. And I went to this place that has a bunch of feral ghouls, killed the ghouls, then I found out there's a sentient ghoul leading them, talked to him, he's like, go kill the Nightkin in the basement. I
Yes.
run past all the Nightkin, find their leader, he's like, hey, we'll leave and we'll stay gone if you go and kill this one ghoul that's been capping our boys in this one part of the basement. So I go to this one part in the basement and he's like, well, hold up. I'll leave now if you can find my lost friend. So I'm like, okay, sure. And then I walk out and I go to find his lost friend. And then the Nightkin just started attacking me, even though I made a deal with their boss. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this, man. It was like 11 o'clock at night and I hopped off. But I love the game and I definitely want to go back and play more. But I need to figure out how to get to this. I think his name's Harlan, the ghoul's name. I have to figure out how to get to Harlan's friend without getting blasted by the invisible Nightkin that are literally everywhere
Is that
throughout
the
the universe.
like rocket
Come
ship
fly.
place?
The quest is called Come Fly With Me.
Yeah, dude, the ending of that. Oh, if you get the ending that I got, I don't want to spoil it for you, but
Yeah, like I said, the dialogue's great. It still looks surprisingly well for its age, and I'm having a really good time with it. But I just need to figure out how to get past all those damn invisible Nightkin because there's no way I can kill them all. Not
yeah,
now. I'm only
actually
level 4.
finish that quest. Don't just slaughter everyone and leave because it has such a good ending.
No, I know that's what I'm trying to do. I just every time I try, well, not every time, but the only time I've tried to go out and find Harlan's friend, I've just been rammed up the ass by a Nightkin wearing a stealth boy and just beaten. And I fought one and I killed it before I went and found the leader and reloaded my save.
Yeah.
And motherfucker made me use 2 stim packs and got rid of half of my health bar before I could put them down. And I was like, yeah, this isn't going to be a viable solution to get rid of all of them. So, and again, I'm only level 4, so I'm not
Oof.
that strong. But again, phenomenal game. Having a great time with it.
Yes.
And one last thing I want to mention, I did get Monster Hunter Rise, and I really wanted to talk about it today and get my thoughts on it, but I have not played it yet. So
Wow, you shitbag.
I know I'm a real shitbag, but
Nah, everyone
unfortunately,
seems to be loving it that
no, I
I've heard.
know it seems phenomenal and honestly a superb experience. My one friend who is a diehard Monster Hunter fan probably has a few thousand hours in World. Definitely has whatever the last one on Switch was, Generations or something, has like 600 hours or whatever. Huge Monster Hunter fan. And he was telling me that he really didn't like the new aesthetic and the new monsters that much. Like the new monsters match the new aesthetic, and that's what I was asking about, but he just doesn't like that feel as a whole. Um, which is kind of disappointing to hear that he's not a fan of the new monsters. But everybody's different. Everybody has different opinions. So hopefully, I, like it more than him, and I imagine I will because I'm not as invested in this universe as he is. So,
Yeah.
but again, the gameplay he said was phenomenal, and the skill switch abilities brings a lot of diversity to the gameplay. He said so. It definitely looks to be a great release, and it already shipped like what 4 million copies
Dude,
as of Monday.
so
Like
much.
that might be up there eventually with like Breath of the Wild and Mario. It might be one of the first
It's
third party titles to be as successful as a first party
yeah, I
on
think
Switch.
it will definitely be the biggest third party release on the Switch, in my opinion. So
Definitely seems that way. You had Japanese companies giving the entirety of their staff days off when Rise released
yeah,
so
I
they could
saw
go
that.
play it. It's like the top 7 best selling things on Amazon Japan that week were like Switches, controllers, like all Monster Hunter themed, and then all the different versions of Rise. And you want to know what? It was worth the wait because I only got it on Monday because I pre-ordered it, but then as soon as I was about to leave, and I told you this, as soon as I was about to leave my house to go pick up my copy at Best Buy, our boy Wario64 tweeted out that the collector's edition was back in stock on Amazon. So that is what I got. And I got the amiibo that comes with it of the Magnamalo. There's no way I was going to remember that and be able to pronounce it without looking at it. But yeah, I'm super excited to play Monster Hunter Rise. And I agree with you. I do think it'll become the best third party selling game on the Switch at least until the Pro comes out.
Yeah.
And then once we're able to have some real legitimate third-party contenders, that's going to shake up a lot. But who knows? The title might still go to Capcom. What if they get MH World to run on the Switch Pro? Like
Yeah.
that's game over. That game sold a ridiculous amount of copies and still continues to. Same with the Resident Evil games. They already have a decent amount on there. You know, Revelations 1 and 2, 4, 5, 6. 0 and 1 remake. It was Switch Pro. What if they start putting RE2, RE3, RE7,
Possible.
crazy stuff on there? I mean, I really think, when the Switch Pro comes out, that's going to really open up a gold rush type moment in the gaming industry for all these devs to get, games that have sold incredibly well in the past. Kind of like when the Switch, first came out, we saw a bunch of 7th generation games coming onto the system. um I think we're really going to see a bunch of devs, just a lot of third party devs, just completely throw all their money, or all their bets rather, onto the Switch platform.
Yeah.
I just It is wildly successful. And honestly, after the Wii U, it's really surprising. No one expected this. One, because of how poor the hardware was and how poorly it sold, but two, how little third party support it got. And now with the Switch, it's a complete reversal and polar opposite. And I think we're only going to see an increase of that, a major, major increase, especially in fall of this year when we get that Switch Pro.
Yeah. And it's another thing worth noting is that Monster Hunter Rise already has a working emulator on PC.
Really?
Yep. People did that in a day.
That doesn't, you know what? That is commendable, but it doesn't surprise me, because I imagine if they got something for like Generations, like an emulation for that for Switch, I imagine it was pretty easy to just do the same thing for Rise. But regardless, that is very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. Because Monster Hunter Rise is supposed to be coming to PC, I believe, in 2022, and they just said, "Yeah, we're getting it now." So,
Is it? I thought that was going to be a Switch exclusive
nah,
for like,
it's coming to PC next year.
but not Xbox or PlayStation.
Not that I'm aware of.
Hmm, that's unfortunate. But at least PC will get to enjoy it.
Yep. All right, and then as far as what I've been playing, one thing we've already talked about, Alan Wake. We talked a little bit about this off the podcast, but
One of the best games ever made, in my opinion. But go on.
I thought it had a great story, but I thought the gameplay was very iffy. And what I mean, I'll elaborate a little bit. The level design I thought was poor. I thought because there's a constant flow of enemies just getting thrown at you. I thought the flashlight combat got repetitive at times, and then my boy Alan has the worst stamina I've ever seen in a
He's a writer
dude. I don't care.
and a smoker.
You have monsters chasing you, and you gotta go 2 feet, and he's like just starts stumbling. I'm like, buddy, you have a light right there, and he's getting smacked from the back.
Stamina management, bro.
But
I don't. So what would you give the game overall? Like 1 to 10. You had to give it a flat number, no decimals.
I'm
What would you say?
torn between an 8 and a 9.
Well, then you should go with 9, because
I just
I'll tell
didn't
you
like the
this.
gameplay, dude.
I did not have that experience at all. I understand the flashlight combat can have a good amount of jank to it. I'm not going to deny that. But to me, I just thought it added to the tension, like not being able to kill your enemies immediately as you see them. That's, a unique mechanic, and I like how it ties neatly into the lore of the game as well. It's not just a gameplay mechanic, but it makes sense with the game's story perfectly. And again, those moments where like an enemy's right up in front of your face and your flashlight pops their darkness at the last possible second, and you just like dump 3 rounds of your magnum into their face. Like, that is great horror. And it's not even really supposed to be a horror game. Like, of course there's horror elements, but like it shouldn't really be constrained to just that one descriptor, that one adjective. You know what I mean? Because it's more
Yeah,
than that. Um but I am glad you enjoyed it. In my opinion, it's definitely the best thing Remedy has ever made. I think it's better than Control and Quantum Break. Definitely better than Quantum
yeah.
Break.
I'm gonna play Quantum Break sometime in the next couple months, and then I'll replay Control. I don't know when, but I do want to play the DLC because I know there's the Alan Wake DLC, and then there's another DLC as well that I didn't get to
I need
play.
I need to beat Quantum Break, because literally I got to the last boss fight, the end of the end,
Yeah,
and I did not beat it.
damn.
but makes me very happy that you finally played Alan Wake. Not only that, but you enjoy it. And did you play the DLC yet?
I started the first chapter last night, and then I want to finish Tiger King, so I watched 4 episodes of that instead.
You haven't seen Tiger King yet?
No, I just finished it
Oh
last
my
night.
god, dude! I wish you watched that when the entire world was. It was
I
such a
know,
time
dude.
to
I
be
don't.
alive.
The whole world was just fucking watching Tiger
Freaking
King, and I
out,
was like, yeah.
freaking out. It was great, but
I was watching The
no.
Sopranos probably.
Hey man, best show ever made. Nothing wrong with that.
But
Alan Wake, yeah, phenomenal game. DLC, honestly, I think rivals the main game's content, and the second DLC leads into the DLC for Control that features him. I haven't
now,
beaten
is
that
all
yet.
the DLC reusing the map from the main game? Like, there's no new locations? Because so far, in like the 30 minutes I've played, it's just been all locations I've already been to, like the Woodyard and all that.
Well, yeah, it's still all Bright Falls because that's where I can't say,
Okay, yeah.
but
Well,
but it's still, yes, everything is contained to Bright Falls.
okay. And then I gotta
But
decide if I want to play the American Nightmare thing. I mean, I was looking at some gameplay. It's like, I don't know.
I have it. I haven't played it yet. Again, it's a case of being a standalone expansion. You know, it's not a sequel. It's not its own game. Um, I would give it a shot if you want to. I mean, I still have yet to give it a shot. Like I said, I have it. I got it with gold at some point long time ago. Xbox Live Gold, that is, not actual gold. And it never really drew my interest, unfortunately. I mean, I imagine it's good because I love the first game, but I don't know. I just never had the drive to play American Nightmare like I did with the first game. I feel like
Yeah.
I'd sooner replay the first game on the hardest difficulty than play American Nightmare. But I don't know. One day I'm gonna try it. If you have even the slightest inkling to it, I'd encourage you to do it.
Yeah, I know. My main focus for tomorrow, at the very least, will be Outriders. And then I'll
Right?
see from there. I mean, I know there's some other big games coming out in April, like Near Replicant, but I don't know if I want to play that because I haven't played Near Automata yet, which a lot of people
Yeah.
love.
I'm
So,
skipping out on Replicant because I haven't played Automata either.
yeah. I mean, it's on Game Pass, so that's like the one reason I want to play Automata. And I know a lot of people really liked it, but we'll see
Yeah.
how much time I have. It depends on if I actually play Outriders, which we'll see. But as far
The
as for
one
the
thing
other, what was that?
Well, it's just the one thing that concerns me about shit. No,
All right.
totally forgot what you were gonna say because you moved on to the next
Yeah.
topic, and then my brain switched tracks, and then I'm like, wait,
All
I'm
right.
trying to go back to my thought, but no, it completely escapes me. Oh well.
Oh, it was probably you were going to talk semi bad about Outriders because I know you didn't
No,
love the
it
demo.
wasn't Outriders. It had something to do with whatever we were talking about right before.
American Nightmare.
But
Was that what we were talking about before? Oh,
no, it was
Near Automata.
Yeah. Oh, got it. I remember now. Okay. Yeah. No, the only thing that concerns me is in the beginning of the game there's a 45-minute segment that doesn't have a checkpoint or a
Really?
save point or anything. So if you die at all during that, you have to restart from the beginning. And I know if I die during that part, I will flip shit because I am not one to redo lost progress and have a good time with it, especially when
Demon
it's free.
Souls.
Especially, well, Demon Souls, you're still always progressing as you die, you know, but like this is like a scripted opening. So if you die at all during all of this, you just have to repeat it from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, no progress whatsoever, not even for your character. So it's just like, that's a little bit frightening and definitely swaying me away from trying it. I had a buddy who did it and said it wasn't that hard and didn't even know that was a thing, but I don't know. It's kind of made me discouraged from trying it, but I do want to at some point. You know, it looks
Yeah.
good. Looks like a solid game.
But as far as the other game I completed this week, I finished Star Wars Force Unleashed. Um, I forget where I was when I talked about it last week. I think I was getting towards the end. But yeah, I finished the base game and I did the 3 DLCs, I believe there were for it.
One
Yeah.
on Tatooine, one on Hoth,
And then the Jedi Temple.
in the Jedi Temple. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So I've completely finished that game, and then I went to start Force Unleashed 2, and something stopped me from playing it. The game was crashing, so I will have to go
Where are you
back to
playing
it.
it on?
PC. I'll have to just buy
Yeah,
it on Xbox.
yeah, because
Or actually, I have it on EA Play through Xbox, I'd imagine.
it's not an EA game.
Oh, yeah, it's not an EA game. God damn.
That's no,
No,
thank
but
God it's not an EA game.
aren't non-EA Star Wars games still on EA Play?
This Force Unleashed 2 was made way before the EA deal. I don't
What
think
about
so.
KOTOR 1? Is that made by EA? Oh, yeah, that was
It's
BioWare.
BioWare,
That was
published by EA,
Yeah.
but in conjunction with LucasArts.
Well, anyway,
So not
I'll.
their IP.
I mean, I could grab it on sale for Xbox. So probably like $5.
That's where I play it. Runs fine, looks fine.
But I'm waiting for a sale, I guess. Or to
Get a
try and
physical copy.
or just fix the PC version. Yeah, I mean, the game definitely wasn't made for PC. I'll say that.
No, it was a rush port for sure. I'm pretty sure it's locked at 30 without like a
And
trainer.
there's no DLC on PC either.
Really? No costumes or anything?
Nah, yeah, no. The Endor map's not on PC,
Damn.
so it'd probably be better for me to just play it on Xbox.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But overall, enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good story. Ending was a little bit,
Force Unleashed?
yeah,
Love Force Unleashed story.
but
Wait, what do you mean ending was a little bit? A little bit what?
a little cliche.
It's the formation of the Alliance, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's the whole Vader scene and like Vader's
It
like
was
the
badass.
Emperor's. All right, I don't think I'm spoiling this for anyone. This game's so old at this point. The Emperor's like, oh, come kill Vader, and then Vader just has no problem with the Emperor. Just like after the Emperor wanted him to get killed by, I forget even who you play as. It's been a week.
Star Killer.
Yeah, Star Killer.
Alan Merrick.
He wants Star Killer to kill Vader, and then
Yes,
he
of
doesn't
course
kill
he
him, and he
does.
leaves or dies or whatever. I don't fucking
Dies.
remember.
Well,
Yeah,
actually, we never got it confirmed.
yeah.
Honestly.
But then, wasn't he in the second game, or is that something different?
It's a clone.
Oh my god!
But you never find out if you're actually a clone or if you're actually Star Killer. And you're supposed to find out in the third game. But then
you just don't get a third game
because Disney.
yeah. But yeah, and I thought it was a little on the cliche side because they need to make it make sense. So obviously Vader couldn't die or anything like that. But I don't know.
He does in the dark ending. And that's where the DLC comes,
Yeah.
to play. But no, I mean, again, the Emperor betraying Vader like that completely fits into his character. But I think you're more focused on the fact that Vader was kind of like whatever
Yeah,
after the
like
Emperor
he
was
just
winning
didn't
the
give
crown.
a shit and just walked up to
Well,
him and just sucked
well,
up
yeah,
to him
because
instead of just trying to kill him.
think about it. What else was he gonna do? And he kind of bitches his master out at the end there. He's like, then it will just be us two, as you always planned, my master. Like he always Vader knows that he's disposable to the Emperor. He's always known that. He's always known that after
Yeah,
losing
but
to
at that
Obi-Wan,
point, the
he's lost.
perfect time to just whip out your lightsaber and just go for a fucking swipe across the face.
Yeah, he would see that coming,
Yeah,
dude.
I know.
It's Palpatine. And Vader was weakened after that. He wouldn't be in the state to do anything.
Well, anyway, it's not canon anymore. Disney
It
wiped it
should.
out.
It's Legends, man, and Legends is still canon to me. All right. No, but a lot of Legends is, but not all of it. I like to think of the Force Unleashed as still canon because I like that story, the formation of the Alliance. I thought it was much
Yeah, I
better.
thought that was cool.
I thought it was way better done, or much better done in this game than it was in Star Wars Rebels. Personally, Rebels, it felt kind of like a nothing moment almost. Because you kind of feel like the Alliance is there from the start, even though it's not. They just kind of always have that feel. But in Force Unleashed, it actually feels like a trial and a tribulation to actually get this thing up and moving, and especially the part where you get betrayed by Vader. You lure all the leaders of the Rebel Alliance out into the open. They all get captured, and at least the end. Like that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I really like the new characters introduced, like Rom Coda and Juno Eclipse. Those are great fucking characters. Proxy, the robot.
Does Leia die in the bad ending?
Leia dies. Luke gets turned to the dark side, and Han and Chewie.
See, that's what I thought. I thought Leia died there in that scene. But then in the Hoth DLC, I could have sworn when you're going up to the Millennial Falcon, someone screams, "Protect the princess." And maybe
Well,
I'm just losing my mind. But
again, I mean, none of that's canon, and
yeah,
none
I
of it
know.
was ever even Legends. That's just like complete darkest timeline. Let's see how far we can push it. So I don't think continuity was really on their minds. Like how, and you fight the ghost of Ben Kenobi
Yeah,
in
that's
this
fair.
show. Like,
That was one of the
it's
good things
not
they did. They had fucking boss fights from like every possible character you could imagine. There's like Vader, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, Ghost
Boba
Obi-Wan,
Fett.
Boba Fett, Luke.
Oh,
Just
the Darth Maul boss fight's my favorite in that game
yeah,
for sure. I had so much fun doing that, especially the fact that it's an ambush. You don't see it coming.
yeah.
It's great.
All right. Let's head into our news topics. I think. Um, as I said earlier, our news this week is kind of weak. But write the timestamp down. So our first thing is the Xbox Indie Show. Now I don't think you watched it, did you?
I did not.
Okay, let me describe to you how this went. They say there's a show starting at 12, so noon.
Right.
I hop on, I go into a live stream, go to Mr. Matty Plays stream. He has like 1,000 people in there. I'll just chilling out, having a good time, and they'll show like 3 indie games, and then they'll be like, "All right, let's go back to our panel of Twitch streamers," and they'll stay with them for like 25 minutes of them just talking or like doing like an interview, and then you'll see another 2 games. And then it's them talking for like another 20 to fucking 30 minutes. Like, and the thing with indie games is they're so niche that you're not going to like every game you're going to see at a show like this. So the proper way to do this is you show all the games first, and then you just give some times and you say, all right, we're going to have interviews with the following devs at these times. If you want to go see them, you go see them after the show. But they force them on you in this. So it ended up being a 4-hour show if you wanted to see all the stuff, and they didn't tell anyone it was going to be a 4-hour show, so you're just kind of there sitting around, and you're like, what the hell's going on, because you're seeing like 2 indie games, and there were some good indie games, and I'll talk about them real quick. There's a VentureBeat article which I'm going to pull up, which has all the games that they announced coming to Game Pass, so I'll run through them real quick. Art of Rally, which is a top-down racer. Astria Ascending is an RPG from a mobile game company, so Backbone, you play as a raccoon who's a detective. Boyfriend Dungeon, that looks like one of those games you see on Pornhub. Craftopia, an open world crafting game that actually looks pretty decent. Dead Static Drive, kind of looks like the old school GTA games in a way. Edge of Eternity, that actually looked really cool. It was an RPG, a JRPG, but it did look really cool. Hello Neighbor 2. You might be familiar with the first game from that, but that looked decent.
Yes.
Library of Runia. You grip books to fight librarians.
Like the opening scene in John Wick 3.
Little Witch in the Woods, an RPG that is about witchcraft. Moonglow Bay, a fishing RPG. They spent 30 minutes talking about this game. 30 minutes talking about a fishing RPG. And it was an interview, and they're like, yeah.
It's a good pastime.
Dude, there was one interview where they're like, oh, we don't have a lot of time here, so we're going to be quick. And everyone's like, yes, we got a quick interview here. They spent fucking 15 minutes still on this. It was supposed to be a quick, real interview. Still spent 15 minutes. Like, yeah, we don't have a lot of time here. We got to make this quick. 15 minutes. And it was about a game about like a door. Narita Boy is... I remember that looking decent, but that's coming to Game Pass. Nobody Saves the World, another RPG. Omno is a puzzle game. Recompile is a Metrovania-style adventure game. Sable is a story about you going across the desert. She Dreams Elsewhere, an RPG about anxiety. We saw a little bit about Stalker 2. Are we coming to Game Pass? No, you saw teeth customization.
Oh.
Teeth, yeah.
Oh.
The Ascent, which looks really good, but still don't have a release date for that. But they're saying 2021, but that's a cyberpunk RPG, and it looks amazing. Undungeon, roguelike sci-fi game. Way of the Woods, you play as a deer and a fawn trying to get home. Wild at Heart, a narrative game about a child. And that's it for the game.
About a narrative game about a child? Is that the only thing you have to say?
She can command a swarm of creatures, or hey, I don't remember.
There you go.
But there were those were the 20 or so games coming to Game Pass. at launch.
No Hades.
There were about 40 other games that we saw, all about what you'd expect from indie games. But yeah, the show as a whole was a disappointment.
Sounds like it. I only recognized 2 games, and they were both sequels.
Yeah.
I am
So,
excited to try out that Cyberpunk RPG you were talking
yeah,
about,
it's
though.
top down. So I mean, it's not for everyone, but it does look really good, and gameplay looks fun. So, and it's a cyberpunk setting, which I think we all need a little bit of in our life. Which that transitions us to the next topic.
Well, hold on a
Oh, you
second.
got some? Oh, what's...
I have a topic that we need to squeeze in here real quick because it's just announced as we were talking and doing our show. I believe starting today, and if not today, in the very near future, select backwards compatible games are coming to Xbox Cloud. So you'll be able to play these on your phone if you have Game Pass Ultimate. And those titles are nothing to scoff at. There's actually some really good ones on here. We got Fable 2, Gears of War Judgment, Fallout New Vegas, as we were talking about before, Perfect Dark Zero, both Viva Pinata games, Perfect Dark the original, Oblivion, Double Dragon Neon, Banjo Tooie, Gears of War 3, Jetpack, Gears of War 2, Elder Scrolls Morrowind, Cameo, and Banjo Kazooie, the first one, thank God, not Nuts and Bolts. So just Banjo-Kazooie. So
So a lot of
yeah,
classic games there.
a lot of great classic games too, especially Gears and Fallout and Banjo. That's hey man, if you have a Samsung or Android phone and you have Game Pass Ultimate, I mean, good for you. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
just go
stuck with
stream
some
that. I know.
Apple garbage still,
I mean,
but
it'll come to Apple eventually. It'll be coming to TVs soon. So I mean, they're making a lot of progress with the XCloud, and I'm happy. And I mean, I know Stadia announced that they're giving like Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition to anyone who streams to it. But that's like the difference there. Like that's for April's game. Like that Resident Evil, and then I think there's one other game. Resident Evil is a great game, but you see that with Stadia, and you're like, all right, I'm paying this much, and you're getting 4 new games. And you have like a total of 20 games that you can get through the Pro thing, and majority of them are nothing to get that excited about. And then you just see XCloud just adding 20 games out of nowhere to an already huge cast of things you can play in XCloud, and it's like
why does
$15 for
Stadia
that.
still exist?
I don't know why Stadia still exists,
I
but
mean, again, Resident Evil 7 is a phenomenal game. My favorite in the
yeah,
franchise. 10 out
but
of 10. Superb
Stadia
experience.
is
But
just a mess.
yeah. And again, like the game's been out for over 4 years now, which is
Yeah,
crazy to think about. But like I have it already on PC, Xbox, PlayStation. Why the hell would I ever get it on Google Stadia? Even
no
if
one
it's for
knows.
free. Like, and it's not for free. It's
Yeah,
$15 a month.
yeah.
Like, get that shit out of my face.
And if you buy games on it, there's a chance that Stadia just closes down forever and you lose all your games.
Yeah,
But
it's not even a digital download. It's literally all streaming. So if it goes kaput, all of your purchases are gone.
yep. But
Like, I'm sorry if you had faith in Stadia because that was pretty foolish, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. But in other news, we're gonna head over to CD Projekt Red.
My boys. Yes, I'm still a CDPR fan. You can hang me or burn me or
So
stone me
we
or
got a
drown me, whatever you
few
want to do.
things here to comment on, and then we'll talk about them. So CD Projekt Red announced their future plans. So they came out and said that they will have a partial AAA development plan that will start in 2022, which means multiple games will be developed at the same time. I would imagine that would mean Witcher
And
and
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk at the same time. So back and forth is no longer a thing, which is good because spending 8 years on one game and then saying, all right, we're not gonna have another game for another 8 years is a little
A
bit,
bad strategy.
yeah. Having
Very
both games going
demoralizing, I
at
would
once
imagine.
works a lot better in my opinion, especially a studio their size.
Yeah.
On top of that, they said that online components are going to be coming to all franchises, which is concerning to a degree.
I don't know
I mean, if they
because
do it right with
we always
Witcher, but I don't need a Witcher battle royale. That's all I'm saying.
well no, that's not see this doesn't concern me that much because one, we already knew that Cyberpunk would eventually get like a GTA Online style multiplayer component, and that'll eventually come once all the expansions,
Well,
DLCs,
actually, they were
next gen
saying that
versions, and patches are
the
out.
way they said it, it made me seem like that isn't going to happen anymore.
Well, no, I meant in terms of it's not going to happen with like the main Cyberpunk game that we have now, but like
Yeah,
I
I was
thought
saying for the
Legacy,
next sequel, I would imagine it's coming.
yeah. The next sequel will probably have that
because
online
they
component.
realize that they have too much bad blood with this.
For Witcher, and I always thought this even when playing Witcher 3 when it first came out back in 2015. What if nothing crazy? There's
Co-op.
just a co-op mode, two
Yeah, that
people.
definitely could work.
Like Geralt and the second player. Well, not Vesemir because Vesemir croaks in Witcher 3.
Siri. I
But
mean, just
yeah,
like something.
Siri. You do Geralt and
I mean,
Siri,
it'd be a
or
brand new game, and it probably wouldn't even be Geralt's story anymore. So you'd have
hold on, it's always Geralt's story.
it'd be in the Witcher universe. They've made it seem like the Witcher.
I I know,
I
but
mean,
I'm
they
such
could
a
do a
big fan.
prequel.
Such a big
I
fan of the
my
books and everything.
my prediction
Has
is to do a
to go.
prequel, but I think there's also a very good chance they want to go into the future of the lore, and
Yeah,
they obviously want to just retire Geralt and make it other stories in the Witcher universe.
I don't know how. I don't know how they could make a sequel after 3. The
Well,
White
they can't
Frost
do
is
it.
already
He's
come and gone. Like that's even in the books. That's the main thing. Ithlinne's prophecy. Like that's
well, I think they'd have to grow beyond the
everything.
books, which
But can they do that?
it's the whole Game of Thrones conversation all over again.
Yeah.
Can they actually do it? And I don't know. But the other things of their future plans is they're not only going to be making RPGs, but they want to blend their genres and a big
Aw.
expansion of the studio becoming Red 2.0. But they're basically saying that instead of focusing just on AAA RPGs, they want to add other genres into it. And
But why?
well, I think it more or less means like how they added a AAA RPG and then made it a first-person shooter, and
Okay.
but it's
I
still iffy.
I want them to stick with RPGs because that's definitely what they're best at.
Yeah. And then instead of being quality focused, they're going to be team and quality focused. So maybe they'll do less crunch. But
I don't know. Like again, that'd be good for the employees, but I will always take the side of the consumer because that's who ends up spending the money at the end of the day for these products, and I think quality should just be prioritized above everything. Obviously, it wasn't for Cyberpunk, so I think they actually need to stick to their word on that one. Of course, treating your employees humanely is
yes,
very important.
yeah, definitely.
Obviously, no
Yeah.
one's disputing that. But again, consumer, I feel, comes first because, they're the ones who fund your projects by supporting your previous ones. And if you don't
Well,
please them,
yeah,
you're really nothing.
but you also want to please your employees. You don't
Of
want to turn
course,
them
but
into slaves.
no one wants that. But like, you don't have a studio without your customers. You don't have employees without your customers. And again, we can feel bad for these employees, of course, and we should because they go through a lot of bullshit. But we got heavily screwed. This is coming from someone that loves Cyberpunk. I'll still admit it. We got fucked over by these people. I mean,
Yeah.
the leading management is definitely still to blame, but I saw no developers for the game coming out. Obviously, they probably couldn't under contract and whatnot. But as far as I'm concerned, they're partly complicit. Like, yeah, they were worked. It was terrible, but obviously they knew the state of the game. They knew the state of the game. They didn't say anything. Again,
Yeah.
it probably would have been very difficult too, but they're complicit. Like, again, it definitely is, management's fault, but they all followed along. So again, they definitely should be treated better. But I am, you know, still bummed over how much of a letdown the launch was. Again, this is coming from someone who loves Cyberpunk. I think it's a 10. When you put the technical aspects aside, and it's just the core game. I absolutely adore it. But what they did was completely fucked up.
Yeah.
No other way to put it. It was completely anti-consumer, and above all else, they lied. And
They
you
did.
know me, we've known each other for years. What do I hate most of than
Hate
most other
dishonest
things?
people.
Dishonest people and liars, yeah, because there's no point in it, if
Yeah.
you
Just
really
tell the truth.
just tell the truth, and none of them did that. So you're definitely gonna have to earn my respect back, CDPR. I like your games, but you don't have my respect.
Now
It's
they
gone.
they did just release a huge patch. Patch 1.2. So, I mean, if you're someone who hasn't played yet, now might be the time to check it out. It's still not on the PS4 store, but I mean, this patch it was a pretty massive patch, so it has fixed some things. So I mean, definitely worth a look if you're someone who stopped playing and want to hop back in. But then again, you might just want to wait a few more months if you're not in a rush. And then on top of that, CD Projekt Red has acquired a Canadian game development studio called Digital Scapes. who has helped them out in the past. So they're growing their team, and that will go to the Vancouver-based team. And the final thing I want to say about CD Projekt Red is that they're saying that they're not going to announce their games 8 years before they're going to launch, so they're going to have a much shorter time. So
That'd probably be a smart idea.
it would be a smart idea. Sets expectations, delays become more understandable when you know about a game for only 2 years rather than 8 years. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would expect The Witcher 4 to get an announcement when it's or whatever next in the Witcher universe when it's a lot closer to launch.
Probably 4 years from now, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I
I
think
would
that's
imagine.
fair. But that is all I have to say. But
Yeah, CDPR, I still love you, but get your shit together.
gotta be
And
better.
it seems like you're doing that. Seems like they're taking the right steps, but we gotta see more. That second patch, like this current patch, fixed a lot. I'll give you credit where credit's due, but a lot of shit's still broken, and that needs to be it needs to be fixed immediately. I mean, you're still not allowed back on the PlayStation Store, which is like,
Yeah,
whoa, you still haven't
months
fixed
after
enough.
launch. But they're
Yeah,
getting there.
they
So
are. And again, we got to give credit where credit is due.
yeah,
Even though this situation should have never occurred in the first place, they're trying. You don't
they are
want them
trying.
to flop and then just give up after the fact. You want
Yeah,
them to redeem themselves. So hopefully they continue to do that. I want to see a No Man's Sky type comeback, and I
same.
think they're capable of it
I do
if
too.
they put the work and effort and passion in.
Yeah.
I'm worried though. What if they're too demoralized at
Nah,
this point to do that? But
I
you
believe
know,
in them.
I I would like to. I would like to. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Let me write timestamp. Up next, we're just gonna mention this because we did talk about it last week, but the Discord acquisitions continue to heat up. Tom Warren came out. Well, actually, not Tom Warren. Wall Street Journal came out and said that Microsoft is now in exclusive talks. So, I mean, we did talk about it last week, so I don't think we have much to add. But people think that a deal could be completed in the next month or so. So, I did just want to add it in there because, I mean, we're recording this on Discord. I know a lot of people do use Discord, so thought I'd at least mention it.
I've been thinking about it. And originally I was like, oh, cool, if it goes through, we'll have Discord compatibility with Xbox and it'll just be one nice ecosystem. And then I thought, well, they don't need to acquire them to do that necessarily. They can have some sort of licensing and contract deal. And honestly, with Discord the way it is right now, I would like it to stay an independent platform. I mean, Discord has definitely, and by Discord I mean the management and the actual moderators and all that sort of stuff. People that actually work for Discord. I don't like them at all. I think they're pretty pathetic when it comes to how they abuse their power. Getting rid of certain servers that don't necessarily agree with their political views or whatnot. And they can use pretty much any excuse in the book just to immediately discard it, even if it's a falsehood. And I really don't like them for that. But I feel like even so, it would be better than having Microsoft come in and just taking the reins, because not only would that continue, it would just be much more corporatized. I mean, Discord still, even though it's a huge platform, it still feels like I don't know. I don't want to say it feels like small business, but it doesn't have the backing that like Skype did or anything like that. It's not backed by a conglomerate. Um, and if it is, I don't know. I feel like that's going to kind of take away some of the charm to it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading too deeply into it. Maybe it's just, another acquisition in a line of acquisitions. Probably the case. But I don't know. I feel like they really could do some cool things incorporating Discord into the Xbox ecosystem, but I feel like it might just hurt the platform in the long run. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we really have to see because you don't know how Microsoft is going to handle them if they did acquire them.
Yeah, we really got to see how it plays out, unfortunately.
Yeah, but we will see. I mean,
We shall, because I mean, it looks like they're in exclusive talks with
yeah,
Microsoft. It doesn't look like anyone else is a part of the conversation, so we should probably be hearing about the result of those talks in the next few weeks, I would
definitely.
imagine.
Up next, Eurogamer had a report saying that COD 2021 is going to take place during World War II. Um, how do you feel about that? I mean, I feel like World War II, kind of, we just had it very recently, even though it was a few years ago.
Well,
Um,
let's expand upon this. It's not just a game set in World War II. It seems like it's a sequel to Call of Duty World War II because it is made by Sledgehammer, which is strange, very strange, because we were told that they're going back to the 2-year development cycle, just Treyarch, just Infinity Ward, and that this year's Call of Duty would be MW2. And then Barry Sloan, guy who plays the new Captain Price, came out and said that they haven't even started recording yet, or they haven't started acting yet. And this was a month or two ago. Even so, it's like if they haven't even recorded their lines yet or done any of the mocap, how the hell is this game going to be out this year? And I'm like, well, maybe they are going to go back to the 3-year development cycle. Then why haven't they said anything? And it's still like, even with these leaks, it's still why haven't they said anything? Because
they
officially
don't
they're
care,
still
bro.
on the
The
2-year development
Activision doesn't
cycle.
give a shit. But
But
dude, it's like I don't know. I feel
yeah,
like
this is called what? Call of Duty World War II Vanguard, I
yeah. I
believe.
mean,
So
that's
it's
probably
the
not
exact
going to be the final
title.
name, but
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't huge. I mean, I like the campaign a lot. Just the multiplayer, I didn't like. But then again, I haven't
Yeah,
liked multiplayer in COD in years, so I can't really be the judge of that. Like, I don't remember the.
I. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's just been a while for me since I've actually enjoyed a multiplayer game on in general. Like I've played CS:GO maybe a few years ago, um, and there's like other multiplayer games that will come out that I'll play a lot, like Rainbow Six, and then I'll stop playing it. And I mean, I kind of have the same thing with these COD games. I'll play them for like a month, I'll enjoy them, and then I'll stop playing them. They don't hold me anymore, and I think that's just because I have the money to get other games now. And like when I was younger, like I'd have to play BO2 for the entire year, and I mean, I thought BO2 was a great game as a kid,
It
but
still is. That multiplayer is definitely quality. It's not just the fact that you have more money to spend, it's that the quality has decreased over the years in terms of the enjoyability of the multiplayer. It's much more commercialized now. There's a lot, it's just really about spending money and flexing on other people in the lobby about having the best gear, especially for the casual fan base. It's a lot of just sliding and jumping and shooting, and it's not really about knowing the map or just having better aim or skill. It's just making yourself a goddamn wacky waving inflatable tube guy
yeah.
so you can't be hit.
And then
I mean,
Activision, I mean, you
they
finish
don't
that.
give a
Yeah,
shit.
they don't give a
They
shit.
don't.
I mean, they'll come with features like months after launch. Like League Play is one of these things in the last couple of CODs. Like they're just like, yeah, we'll get to COD eventually, and it's 6 months down the line. DLC coming out. Like they did get free
It's,
DLC in the last couple of CODs, but it comes out so slow, and it's like you're playing the game for like 3 months, and you maybe have one new map added into the game, and the game launches with like 4 multiplayer maps that are actually 6v6, and all the other maps are much bigger maps. And if you're someone who just likes to play COD for quick gameplay, like if I want to play big maps, I want to play Battlefield. If I'm playing COD, I want more of a condensed experience. And I mean, the Cold War did not launch with a lot of small maps. I believe it had 6 small maps at launch for a
and
6v6.
the skill-based matchmaking is
That's
terrible
another
in
thing.
that game too. I mean, they and then the whole entitled viewpoint that Treyarch had after launch, like saying you should just be grateful you got anything at all. Essentially, it's just like fuck off. You're grateful I bought your game at all. Like,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I don't even bother with multiplayer in Call of Duty anymore. I gotta say it. Every single COD, since I was a kid, I've hit max level in multiplayer and then prestige or just sat there or whatever. Cold War, I hit level 10, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a poor multiplayer, and I have no desire to ever go back to it. That was the first time ever in my life. And I was like, wow. It really took me aback because it's just like I've never done that before. And it just really goes to show the quality is plummeting. I mean, especially even though the season pass is gone, you're right, it was just so little content. That's how Battlefield 1 died so quickly, is because there's just no content for
Yeah.
months after launch. It's just the way these games go. If you can't support it enough, people are going to find the next best thing. And unlike yourself, I play COD for the campaign. I always boot up the campaign first, and that's what I always play for the multiplayer. Historically, I've always beaten the campaign twice before I go into the multiplayer. I usually play it once on regular, and then I go back in and I do it on veteran pretty much immediately after. Um, Sometimes I do a third and play it on realistic after they add that difficulty into MW and Black Ops Cold War. That's what I did with Cold War, actually. And the campaign was actually really good in Cold War, compared to the non-existent one in Black Ops 4. But it still had room to improve. And Modern Warfare's campaign was seriously lacking compared to 1, 2, and 3. And it was good compared to like COD World War II, but major plot holes in that game. Just make no goddamn sense at all.
Yeah.
And definitely doesn't have the same finesse and quality of storytelling that the original MW trilogy had. Same with Cold War compared to Black Ops 1 and 2. And then this just loops back to Call of Duty World War II, which I think is one of the poorest campaigns in Call of Duty history. I mean, highly cinematic, especially the Normandy beach landing. I mean, it's essentially Saving Private Ryan, but not as good. But it's cinematic, and for that I can appreciate it. But it's so over the top in certain scenes, especially like the train derailment, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's just completely absurd. And to get a sequel to that game, it's like, really? And again, like I'm looking at this from a campaign perspective. It's like, really? Like you did some cool things like playing as Rousseau in the French Resistance and being undercover. Like that was somewhat okay, but it's like, do we really need a sequel to COD World War II? And just so
I mean,
people
I'd like to
watching know
see it
my
in the
history,
Pacific if that's what they're gonna do, but I don't think they are gonna.
maybe. I mean, the title of Vanguard doesn't really sound like a Pacific themed
Yeah.
thing, but sounds more like an armor column or
Yeah, I
anything.
agree.
Um, But, just to give people watching, some background history with my involvement with Call of Duty, my first Call of Duty was Call of Duty 2. Not talking about Big Red One either. I'm talking about regular Call of Duty 2. So I've been with the franchise for a very long time. And I have beaten every single Call of Duty campaign, apart from Call of Duty 3, on veteran, highest difficulty. Well, apart from Call of Duty 3 and Call of Duty 1. I forgot about 1. But yeah. All of them, Call of Duty 2, skip 3, and then 4, everything after. Beaten on veteran, beaten all the campaigns multiple times, including the two COD 4 remasters, or the COD 4 remaster and the MW2 remaster. I've done all that shit. So I know what I'm talking about. Quality has decreased substantially year after year, and World War II really was, to many people, especially if you watch like YouTubers like the Act Man, really was like the creation of the Antichrist. Like it was an abomination. I again don't have those feelings necessarily, but I do think it's mediocre, and I just think it's very strange that they're choosing to make a sequel from this game. I get, we can't have a sequel to like Ghosts or Infinite Warfare because that's Infinity Ward and they're working on the new Modern Warfare. And I imagine Treyarch is working on the sequel to Cold War. So it has to be Sledgehammer. Then why not? I don't even not a sequel to Advanced Warfare or anything, but let them make a new COD IP. I mean, why are
Yeah.
you forced to do World War II again? Maybe what, you don't want to spend the money, so you want to reuse assets? That's probably what it is. Now that I've said it out loud. But I don't know. It's just like it makes no sense. Like I feel like the rumor's true. It feels real, but it just seems like an incredibly stupid decision on Activision's part. I don't know. I feel like Sledgehammer just I don't want to sound mean, but I feel like they don't have any creativity.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with that. I mean, I think their game was still, it had a good story. It was a cool World War II game.
It was so cliche though.
It was
I mean,
cliche, but all the CODs are pretty cliche besides the Black Ops ones.
well, exactly. 1 and 2, like Black Ops 1 and 2, had some really good shit going on in it. Very, very creative storytelling, especially with the brainwashing and you just all of the connections between Mason, Dragovich, and then the second game with Menendez and Noriega, and all the deceptions and web of lies and shadows constructed by the CIA and Hudson. It's great stuff. But even though something like maybe the original Modern Warfare trilogy being cliche or like Call of Duty 2 being cliche, maybe you can make an argument for that, but you can't make an argument that they're not compelling. They're very compelling, they're very engrossing, and they're very captivating. I don't feel that way about COD World War II. I feel like I've seen it all before. I feel like I know how it's going to end as soon as the game starts. And I was right. Pretty much every character I figured would be sacrificed was sacrificed. Pretty much every character that I thought would be a nothing character was a nothing character. And, you know, the one kind of twist that they try to do, making it that Daniel's brother is dead the whole time, it's like, okay, saw that coming. Like,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
man. I'm not confident. I'm not confident. I can't be confident.
Well, at the end of the day, it's still a leak. I mean, We don't know if it's gonna be true. It's Eurogamer.
I'll tell you this: if Charlie Intel backs it up, it's true.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know
they
if they
haven't
have.
backed it up yet, so that's the thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll have to just wait and see, and I mean, I'd hope it's Pacific because I think that'd be a lot cooler than going into Europe again.
Yeah.
But
Damn, I was really hard on COD World War II in this segment,
you
and I
were.
never and I never have been before. I've always more been like a defender of it, but like as I started talking about it, it's like this game does not deserve a sequel. I think it's okay for a
Yeah.
one-time thing, but it doesn't deserve a number two. Unless again, completely different characters, completely
I
different
think it
stuff.
will be different characters. I don't think they're gonna do continuation of the cast. I don't think it's gonna be a direct sequel. I think it's gonna be another World War II game.
The only person I wouldn't mind coming back is Sergeant Pearson, Josh
Yeah.
Duhamel's character, if he like transferred over. But no, because they show him coming home from the war at the end of World War II from the Western Front,
Yeah.
so that would not happen. Oh,
It will be a new cast of characters. If they're doing another World War II game, it will be a brand new cast.
and hopefully they learned a lot,
They did. They had to.
and hopefully they stop being pussies. And if it is in Europe, show the goddamn swastika, cowards. I'm serious, man. Listen, I love history. It is my favorite subject of any scholarly study. Always has been. And when you rewrite it because some people are too sensitive to look at a symbol, um, you are pathetic. I mean, if you don't show the symbol, you pretend like it doesn't exist. You only give it more power because you're in fear of it. And then if someone were to choose to use that symbol again, you would be in fear of it again, all over. And then history would rhyme and repeat as always. Like, yeah, show the damn swastika. Like, fuck, man. Like, I'm not. Obviously, I do not support Nazis. My step grandfather was a Jewish soldier in World War II, dropped in the 101st on D Day, killed a lot of them himself. And, he wasn't afraid of the symbol. He won an SS uniform in a poker game in France, took a picture of himself in it, and wrote on the back of it, I look like one, don't I? This was a Jewish man, and he didn't care. He laughed in the face of it. He made fun of it. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to hide in fear. Oh, wow, over like two lines that are jagged and cross in a white circle with red around it. Oh, terrifying. We can't put it in our video game. It's going to traumatize the youth. No, it's going to make the youth ignorant. I'm sorry. That's rant over. Grow some balls, Sledgehammer. Grow some damn balls. What, they drop off?
They may have.
Probably.
Anyway, let's move into something I know you are more happier. Well, not happier with the exact news, but happier about the game. Um, Back for Blood has gotten delayed, unfortunately. But I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's getting delayed to October 12th, so only a
Yeah,
few months. And I think this is something that needed to happen because obviously we want Back for Blood to succeed. And
very
based off
much
what
so.
we've seen, we knew it needed more time when we played the alpha. And I mean, they've
But the
shown
alpha was great.
it
Love
was.
the
We had a
alpha.
lot of fun with it. Um, I mean, they definitely. I mean, they showed new gameplay recently, and it wasn't. It wasn't new gameplay. It was the exact alpha we played, the same exact map, same exact everything that we experienced months ago. And there's like, yeah, it's new gameplay. I click on the video. I'm so excited. I'm like, no, this is what we just played months ago. And so it's clear they needed more time. If they didn't need more time, they would have been showing other maps, in my opinion. So, it's definitely a good thing because
No, I agree. I mean, it felt a little bit choppy while we were playing it, but honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm quoted on the podcast as saying I thought it was going to come out in June. I thought it was going to hit the release date, and I really did playing the alpha. I was like, this feels mainly complete, and I think with a little bit of polish, it'll be ready by June. But I guess they surmised and determined that that was not the case. And you know what? Fine. If
yeah,
it's gonna mean a better game, whatever, man. I'm very excited for Back for Blood. If waiting a few more months means getting the best experience possible, the most polished experience possible, I'm all for it. I think, that's just kind of the mentality you have to have about delays at this point,
definitely,
especially with COVID pretty much guaranteeing that most major releases will be delayed. It's just a part of the industry at this point, and you know what? If it leads to the aversion of more cyberpunk-esque disasters, all for it.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, like we played that first level, and that the first level was good, but obviously there's another like 5 or 6 levels in this game that very well could have been complete disasters, and we obviously never played them, so we wouldn't know. So that's, I'm assuming, is where issues were. It was more in the later game stuff. Um, and yeah, I mean, this game already is gonna have a lot of DLC. They're saying like paid DLC, paid maps, and all that. So they definitely need to nail the base game if you want those to do good. Because if you have a Cyberpunk type launch, it hurts your DLC because then you're fixing your game and you have to delay your DLCs. And if you're releasing your DLCs as a broken game, no one's gonna buy them. So I'm glad that they are delaying it and they're gonna give it some more time because it.
Yeah, and even if you fix the game and you release the DLCs after, you're just gonna have bad will out there. People won't even buy your
Yeah,
DLC.
player is already gone. I mean,
Yeah, they aren't gonna come back.
too.
They're
I
like,
mean,
"Oh,
too
you
many
want
good
more
games
money?"
are gonna be coming out at early 2022 for people to say, "Oh, I want to go back to this game that was a flop."
Yeah,
Like 2022 is going to be a very big year for gaming because so much that got delayed due to COVID is now going to be releasing then in 2022. So
and God of War probably, my estimation, Dying Light 2 as well.
yeah,
You know,
oh, dude, a lot of games. It's going to be packed. But now, um,
Resident Evil 4 remake,
possibly, yeah,
probably,
possibly,
hopefully. I'm saying
possibly, Michael.
I'm saying hopefully.
Hopefully, that's probably the best one to go with. But in other news, Ghost of Tsushima is getting a movie.
Hell yeah, directed by Chad
Chad Stadaski,
Stasinski or something like that. John
buddy,
Wick.
John Wick guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's gonna be probably awesome. I
yeah,
imagine the cinematography is gonna be perfect for what the movie needs to
I would
be.
imagine they're gonna get the same actor to play him.
Daisuke, yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
need
mean,
to.
because he's an actual actor and he could probably just nail that. They also came out and said that Ghost of Tsushima has sold 6.5 million copies since launch, which is very
Is that
successful.
more than Last of Us 2?
Nah, I don't think so.
Should be. Much better game.
But and Sucker Punch will be executive producers on the movie, which is expected.
Well, yeah, damn right. They should be. I hope they actually can't talk today. Hope they actually film in Tsushima too. That would be a pretty neato if they could do it on location. Actually film on Komodo Beach.
Yeah,
That would be great. This has the potential to be an all-time classic. Honestly, I mean, I really feel like the camera work's going to be nearly perfect, and that's the aesthetic of the game. This is a good director. Just want to see who's writing it, to be
yeah.
honest.
I mean, it's gonna be a way off, so we'll get more information as it goes on. But I mean, I think this has potential to be one of the best, film, video game adaptations.
If not the best.
Yeah, I mean,
I
just the
feel like it,
premise
it
here.
really has the potential to be with the director alone.
Yeah,
So
but one of those things we'll have to wait on, and of course we'll update it as we get more news. But yeah, I mean, definitely
I
exciting.
I wish it nothing but success. I'm a huge Ghost fan, so I
Yes,
would love to see a film adaptation of Jin's journey done justice.
for sure. Um, Up next, Total War. Uh, Total War Rome Remastered is going to be coming out on the 29th of April. Now, I've never played the Total War games, but I believe Mike has, so take it away.
I have, and I have not played the original Rome one in a very long time. So honestly, I don't really remember much of it at all. But I have played Rome 2 quite a bit, and I have played the other Total War games. I'm not a die-hard fan by any means, but I do have fun with these games quite a bit. So this remaster is quite the update and upgrade because it is not only revising and refining some things, it's also adding some new gameplay elements that were just never in the game for the first place. So, first things first, obviously, it's going to be remastered with 4K visuals, as well as I said before, refinements to gameplay and all the information I'm using for this segment, I'm getting from the Steam page. So, if you want to go there and read all about it yourself, it's there for you. They're also adding ultra widescreen and native ultra high definition resolution support, along with the 4K optimization. It also includes remodeled buildings and objects, environment effects like dust clouds and heat haze as well. The new campaign maps also feature new high resolution models, and units have also been fully remodeled and retextured to, quote, look their very best on the battlefield, end quote. Um, And there's a few modern features they're adding into this remaster as well. They're enhancing the in-game camera, including map rotation and wider zoom level in the campaign mode. Heat maps and new icon overlays have been added for gameplay mechanics such as diplomacy and security. And in battle, there's a new tactical map where unit displays and range markers give you greater command over Rome's battlefields. Um, Now, this is actually something fairly fucking awesome. Excuse my language, but this is
Go
great.
for it.
Players can now expand their armies and experience 16 additional factions that were previously locked in the original game, giving you a grand total of 38 playable factions.
That's a
And
lot.
yeah, and especially since you aren't able to experience this content in the original version of Rome, this is fantastic. Um, and in the first for Total War, as they're saying here, there is now cross-platform multiplayer, so you can versus your friends or fight alongside them, whether you're on Windows, Mac, or Linux. Obviously, there's no console release, but it is cool that you're allowed to play with your friends regardless of what OS you have. And then one of the biggest things about this change to me, it might not sound that massive to people who don't play Total War or even strategy games, but they're adding a entirely new agent type into the game that was not in the original whatsoever, and that is merchants. And now they can be sent all over the world to create trade links, access resources, and buy out rivals to increase your income and assert your faction's economic power. So you can not only now cripple your enemies militarily, but economically as well. And you could really sow some discord and dissent among citizens of enemy nations through that, and could make your conquests much more easier. And you can also just amass armies much quicker because you don't necessarily have to conscript everybody or raise armies yourself. You can now, I imagine, pay for a lot of things you usually just have to wait for. Not in terms of like I don't want it to sound like it's one of those mobile games where you like press a button to skip the development of something, but like I imagine there's going to be much more flexibility to the ways you can play the game and amass your forces now. Is the
Yeah.
point I'm trying to make. So this doesn't even seem like a remaster, it seems like a remake. The graphics could be a little bit better. It looks pretty much on par with Rome 2,
Yeah.
but at least it looks a lot better than the original. And if you own the original and you buy it before May 31st, the game comes out on April 29th, so not the release date, a bit of a month after that. If you purchase it before the aforementioned date, and like I said, if you already own the original, you get this for 50% off.
That's a nice discount. Okay.
Um, yeah, it's at least I think it's 50%. I'm just trying to, yeah, it is half
Okay, cool.
price. So yeah, I mean, if you're interested in this at all, and you own the original, I would get it because it's only $15. And hell, even if you had to pay 30, I think it's worth it because Rome 1 is just phenomenal. And I'm very excited. I have it pre-ordered, so on April 29th, you bet your ass I will be amassing the legions and invading Carthage and burning it to the ground.
Alrighty. Well, definitely something to keep an eye out if you're into those type of games.
As well as massacring the Gothics and Gauls. They will go too.
All right. Up next, we have some kind of breaking news, but not really. The
Ooh.
PlayStation Plus April games have been announced. So we already knew about Oddworld Soulstorm coming on, I believe, April 6th to PlayStation Plus as a free game if you have the PS5. They also announced that Days Gone and Zombie Army 4 will be coming to uh, PlayStation Plus as well. So
Zombie Army 4 is a phenomenal game.
yeah, I mean,
And I've been saying phenomenal a lot today. I
yeah.
need to have different descriptors. No, Zombie Army 4 is a fantastic game
And then Days
with
Gone, super underrated. I mean, it's
impeccable.
already on the PlayStation Plus collection if you have PS5, but for the people on PS4, definitely worth taking a look at. But yeah. And then our final topic, which it's not really that much. I mean, we talked about it a lot last week and ranted
Well,
about it,
before we
but
go over this, you want to go over the games with gold real quick since we just did PlayStation Plus?
yeah, that shithole.
'Cause-
That
Yeah, because
that
I knew
that
you definitely
fucking
wanted to talk trash.
dude. I'll
Look, man, I think it's half shithole, half mediocre hole. Okay, so it could be worse. Could be a lot better. Could be a lot better. But it could be worse. I don't know. They definitely just need to either fix games with gold
Vikings
or
World of Midgar Truck Racing Championship, Dark Void, Hard Corpse Uprising. Yeah, it's
well,
just a disaster. It's
I
a
installed Vikings and Dark Void last night because I've wanted to play Dark Void for a really long time. Honestly, I don't know why, but the
it's a
cover's always
disgrace. These
fascinated
games.
me.
I mean, you see what they're like. We just talked about the edit to XCloud. You see what they're adding to Game Pass all the time, and then you see this shit. It's like it's embarrassing, bro. Like it's embarrassing to look at these games. Like they're like, here's some garbage Xbox One games you didn't care about, and here's some Xbox 360 games, and
Well, they have to fulfill the contractual obligations of the gold
then
membership.
you look what they're doing on PlayStation, and it's like, yeah, well, because they should just cancel games of gold and stop spending that money because they're spending so much money on these games of gold and then put that money towards something else. Like, I don't know, get rid of fucking gold to begin with. But that's my rant. It's a disgrace.
You're not wrong. But like I said, at least 50% of those titles I already downloaded and I will be checking out.
Yeah. And then our final topic. One second. I don't know what happened here. PS3, Vita. All right. Well,
Yeah, this is
PS3, Vita, PSP Stores confirmed to go. And I mean, we ranted about it last week for like 20 minutes. And that was all on speculation and a rumor, and now it's been confirmed that it is happening. Um, any additional thoughts? I mean, I know we ranted about it last week.
yeah, if you guys want to see, because I pretty much was certain that this was gonna go through,
I
that
was
it
still a
wasn't
little
a
iffy
rumor.
on it. I thought,
So all my main thoughts were, explained in last week's episode. So if you guys do really want to see the entirety of what we think, go check that out. There is a timestamp for it in the description, as with all of our podcast episodes. This fucking sucks. I'll just go over the
yeah,
cliff notes real quick. My points last week being, one, there's still people that only have a PS3, have not been able to upgrade.
yes,
Um, and you are now screwing them of ever buying another game on that platform.
well,
They're
physical,
developed.
but you can't get anything digital.
Yeah, well, mainstream. Well, yeah, you can get old physical games, but they don't make physical cartridges for the Vita anymore. So, you know, just well, oh no, you were talking about the PS3. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I was going ahead
got
into
it,
my
got it.
next point already. Um, that's my bad. But yeah, no, the Vita store is being shut down. My second point,
Yeah, I mean, devs are still making Vita games, and they got
exactly.
screwed. And
Devs are
it's
still
like,
making Vita games. That thank you for finally saying that because that's what I was trying to convey. My brain's still a little bit uh I don't know what
yeah, I mean,
to
they
how.
got fucked over. Like they're working on these games. They spent years, and then they find out the same time as us. Like, yeah, we're gonna be closing it down. Like, they didn't know. People just got like dev kits for Vitas, and they're working on their games, and then they just find out on Twitter, like, oh yeah, we're shutting
Some
it down.
people some people have to cancel their projects, other people have to rush to get it done by the end date. Um it sucks. The fact they didn't give these guys any warning is really scummy. Um and the fact that they're shutting these stores down in the first place is really scummy. Like I understand the operational costs are probably more than they're pulling in, but there's no plan for game preservation. That's my other main point. A lot of these games are just going to be lost to time forever, and there's not going to be anything you can do about it. It's really unfortunate. Well, no, there is something you can do about it, just nothing legally you can
Yeah,
do about it. But here's the thing: they aren't going to be able to complain when people start torrenting and pirating. They have no recourse. If you have no other way for these people to get these games other than through illegal means, what the hell do you expect to happen? It's like Nintendo going after these ROM sites. It's like you won't preserve the games, so someone else has to, and then you take legal action against them because you're too lazy to do what they're doing. Like piss off. And now I see Sony taking that exact same route. And it's like, do you just not care about your history at all? Like, I understand some people just view video games as like a toy or whatever, but it's not. It's an art form. Like cinema, like paintings, like literature, like whatever. It's just another, format to experience it in. And then
Yeah,
you have these corporate suits guy that just see you have these corporate suits guys that they just see the dollar signs. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Especially with pricks like Jim Ryan. And I
definitely.
don't
I agree.
I don't want to burn any bridges, but the guy's an asshole.
He is. He doesn't care about the past. He's just full on in the future. That's the
Well,
only
Phil
thing he cares
Spencer
about.
is the prime example of what you'd want like a console boss to be.
Yeah.
Someone who cares about preserving the past, bringing all the old games to the new hardware, and trying to bring as much compatibility as possible to your platforms and your services.
And I would
And Jim
imagine someone.
Ryan's just like out with the old, in with the new. And what do we do with the old, sir? Burn it, shut it down. Doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
don't care.
I would imagine someone like Todd Howard is. That's why one of the reasons he was probably happy about Microsoft is seeing how they're conserving their old games. Because something like Todd Howard definitely cares about like his old Elder
His
Scrolls games,
legacy.
and he doesn't want
Yeah.
those games just disappear and just never be played again. Besides on PCs, and it's like
Especially games
PlayStation
like
doesn't care
Oblivion.
about
Yeah.
what's happening to the past.
There's so many good games on PS1 and PS2 that are on the PS3 store that you won't be able to get anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I got in a fight the other day. There was a guy on Twitter, and he was telling me like, "Oh, you're telling me there's people who really want to go play a PS3 game," and I'm like, "Yeah, I just beat Alan Wake for the first time last night, and that was a game from the same generation. Obviously, it wasn't on PlayStation, but that was a 360 game, and that's from the same generation right there. And I
yeah, and
just played that game for the first time. I had a great experience.
last week I was just playing God of War 1, a PS2 game on my PS3.
Yeah,
Like, and there's still these ignorant people out there. And you want to know what? I love how people on Twitter always love to accuse people of privilege or white privilege or whatever whenever something doesn't go their way. But these people are legitimately speaking from a place of privilege when they say things like that, and they're just so ignorant they have no idea. It's like, oh, who would play a PS3 game in 2021 when we had the PS5? I don't know, bro. Maybe all the people that don't have a PS5 or hell, not even a PS4, because guess what? Not everybody's financially stable.
yeah.
Not everybody has had the opportunity to upgrade. Not everybody even wants to upgrade. Some people just like playing classic games. Some people don't have the means to play anything other than classic games. Some people just value the things that they spent money on and don't want the value to
The,
go away.
the other part of it is
It's
that there's
simple.
so many like new people. Like think about like a new kid right now playing video games for the first time. There's so many classics from generations from before him that he should check out. Like that's like saying,
Or
oh yeah, like who cares about games that were on the PS4? Like who cares about the original Last of Us game? Like that game's a great game, but oh, who cares about it? That was before your time. There's a PS5 now. Who the hell cares about PS4 games? Like you need to preserve your past because there are so many games like when I first started gaming, I didn't really care about original Xbox games, and there's a lot of games I missed because I was like primarily a COD gamer when I was growing up on 360. There's so many 360 games or PS3 games that I missed out on that I would like to play, and
yeah.
they're just gonna
What about
disappear. I mean,
what if there was never a Demon Souls remake and Demon Souls is still relegated to the PS3?
yeah,
Wouldn't be able to get that other than without a disc. You know,
exactly.
other games like, because I just bought this one and it still has yet to come to my house, but I figured the shutdown would be true, so I put an order in before prices really started to go up, and I'm glad I did because a game like Dark Souls 2 Vanilla, on next gen you can only play Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, and it's not the version with just the DLC on disc that is available for last gen versions, but it is kind of expensive. This is an entirely different version of the game, different enemy placements and a bunch of other different item placements and whatnot. And it is arguably, well, no, not arguably, it just is more difficult. And, it's difficult because of a lack of play testing, I guess you could say. With the new enemies that they've put into some areas, it just doesn't mesh right. That, because of that, I far more prefer Dark Souls 2 vanilla. But here's the thing. Let's say you buy Dark Souls 2 on disc, right? And you don't buy the version that has the DLC on disc, which there's only one version of. And again, it's pretty hard to find. You're not going to find it in a store. You can find it on Amazon. It's like over $40. Let's say you don't want to spend that much, right? You find just like a version of the base game for $10, $15, $20 max. Let's say that this happens post July. So you find the game, you finally sit down, you beat it. You're like, oh, this is great. But I also heard there was 3 DLC expansion packs for this game. I want to go check those out. I like the title. I want to continue my experience. Oh, I can't buy those. Can I go online to get a code for it and redeem it? Nope, can't redeem codes anymore. Can I buy it on another system and then download it after? Nope. Your only recourse would to be to either sell your original copy and get the version with the DLC on disc, which is probably going to skyrocket in price once these storefronts go down, or you just deal and you don't play the content. And now just think about replace Dark Souls 2 with any other title, and then a title with DLC, and then just imagine them not having a physical copy with the DLC on disc. That's gone forever. That is gone forever. You know what? Better example. Call of Duty Black Ops and Black Ops 2. We were talking about it earlier, right?
Yeah.
They have beloved zombies modes. Now, those games launched with a fair bit of content with their zombies, but arguably the best zombies maps are DLC. Like for Black Ops 1, you get all the World at War maps in DLC, Moon, Ascension, Shangri-La. Those are great maps, but you're not going to be able to play them without expansion packs. Black Ops 2, you got Origins, Buried, Die Rise, all of these great maps. If you don't buy them,
Gone.
if you play on PS3 and you don't buy them, and they're still $15 a pop, so like $50 for the season pass. If you don't buy them before the deadline, you're never going to be able to play those maps on your system of choice. If you're still on that PS3, which I made this example because I have a friend who still has a PS3, who has not had the opportunity to upgrade, who really only plays Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies. So if he doesn't spend, like, if he wants both season passes, if he doesn't spend like $100, if he doesn't have any of them, which I don't know if he does or not, I'm assuming he does, but hypothetical for argument's sake, if he doesn't have those, he has to spend $100 within the next few months, or else he can never have access to those maps. And let's be honest, man, especially during this pandemic and this economic crisis that we've been experiencing, $100 to scrounge up, even within a few months, is a difficult task for a lot of people because that money has to go to more important things. And they just might not have the ability to gather up those funds in that amount of time, and then goodbye. You're never going to have the opportunity again. And it is beyond despicable for me. Honestly, I just, it's disgusting.
Yep.
It's disgusting. And they do not give a shit about their heritage or their history or the people that built them up to where they are today. They don't care. They only care about making money and prolonging that for as long as possible. And whatever doesn't make money gets cut. And I understand that that's how capitalism works. I would never have it any other way because I do love capitalism. I am a capitalist. Don't want any misconceptions out there. However, this is the shitty side of it. And just because we're in a capitalist society doesn't mean you don't have to not value where you came from. Just because you want to save some money doesn't mean you have to completely, discard the moral or ethical argument of the situation. And that's exactly what men like Jim Ryan are doing. And, for those reasons, he shouldn't be the CEO of a gaming company. If you're not even going to appreciate where you came from and you only focus on moving on, you have no right to be there. You don't. You have no respect. How are you going to work for something you have no respect for? Clearly, he doesn't. He can say he does all he wants, but his actions have shown that he doesn't give a shit about the history of PlayStation
He cares
and
about
the
the future. He
classics.
doesn't care about the past, which I
Yeah.
think the past is important, but he doesn't.
No, he'll care about the past if you can remaster or remake it and then
Yeah.
resell it.
Get more money.
Yeah. But to the people who already purchased the games in the past and still have their old hardware, no, F off. Go F yourself. Terrible.
Yeah.
And no excuse for this. There is no excuse for this. And they have the money to keep it running. It's not like they're
Oh, yeah.
losing money, like to a
It's not that
detrimental extent.
expensive to run a store.
Yeah.
But
Especially since the entire thing that you're running is designed to only make you money and nothing
yeah,
else. It's literally a
exactly. They're
storefront.
taking
It's
a cut
literally
from
a
sales.
storefront. Yeah.
But on that note, that is our last topic, guys. So thank you for watching. Hopefully next week we'll have some juicier topics to talk about. But
Something more exciting with
yeah,
more life.
but thank you
We
for
appreciate
listening
you
to our
watching.
rants.
Yes.
And we shall see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.